#1 school psychologist. I'm back at my hotel room. Some of y'all saw me cutting up a little bit, having a little fun with my brothers. You know, when I am invited to speak, especially when I'm invited to speak in faraway places, when brothers and sisters have to go out of their way to raise funds to pay for those international round-trip tickets and to pay for hotels and to pay for me to eat and to pay for me to be transported, I feel that it is my obligation to let them know that I appreciate them. And so in lowering my guard and enjoying the brothers and sisters who brought me to Japan, that's why I did what I did. It was authentic. It was not staged. I just simply decided to be myself around some very good African brothers and sisters. Obviously, I can't do it all the time because, as you could, see, people are extremely accusatory and judgmental whenever I show that I am a regular person. But being as unapologetically African as I am, I don't really give a damn. So with that being said, I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I've been to a club. The first time I went to a club, I believe I was a freshman. Was I a freshman at Millersville University or a senior at Scotland School? But I was young. And my cousin James, shout out to cousin James, the Johnson family, he used to take me to dances. Those of y'all who live in Philly, you know that there used to be a club downtown known as Dances where the young folks would go. And so James took me there twice. I think we went New Year's of 12th grade and then New Year's of freshman year, or New Year's of junior year, and then again New Year's of 12th grade. We brought in the New Year down there, and of course I was out of place because I don't have any rhythm, cursed by my white ancestors, and I might have been to a club once or twice since then. So at 40 years old, tonight was probably maybe the 4th or 5th time I think I ever been inside of a nightclub. But be that as it may, I'm going to talk a little bit, not long, because I got to get up early to do some sightseeing here in Nagoya tomorrow. I think we're going to go and see where the ninjas train and prepare. And I think we're going to visit another Buddhist temple. I'm a big fan of Buddha. Okay. But nonetheless, I want to talk a little bit about my political history. I'm not going to talk about my personal history because in order to do that, I'm going to have to name some people. And at this stage of my life, I don't think it's appropriate that those persons be named. But God willing, before I join the ancestors, I would like to have written a thorough autobiography of the Prince of Pan-Africanism. But to appease for the moment, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my political history, my rise or ascension, if you would, into black consciousness. I am going to start it at the age of 17, which is about 25 years ago. So anyhow, when I graduated from the Scotland School for Veterans Children, I began my undergraduate study at Millersville University in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I was a psychology major, and immediately I joined the Black Student Union as a freshman, and I was elected president of the Black Student Union in 1991. When was the Million Man March? The Million Man March was 95, I want to say. October 16th, 1995. Am I correct? The Million Man March was October 16th, 1995. And so I had gotten elected to be president of the Black Student Union, and I served in that capacity for normally 2 years. And my first act of office, which was undertaken with the two previous presidents, Kevin and Jamar, we took a trip to the Million Man March, and it was a beautiful experience. We had a bus full of brothers. We went down, got there the night before, stayed over at a church in D.C., woke up early. In fact, at the Million Man March, and we're talking about the original Million Man March of 95, we got there and it was still dark outside. So we took a train, we took the metro. The coach bus let us off right outside of D.C. We took the metro. And when we got out to the mall, it was about 5 in the morning. We got there early on purpose because we knew it would be a large crowd. When we got out to the mall on D.C., okay, and I guess I'm about 20 years old. When we got out to the mall on D.C., got on the mall in D.C., there was probably only about 50 to 100 people out there, maybe 200 tops. We were some of the first people on the scene at the Million Man March. We were some of the first people. It was dark. The Muslim brothers, not the Nation of Islam, but the Orthodox Sunni Muslim brothers, they were making salat out there. And we were sitting around, you know. It was no big deal at the time because it wasn't too many people out there. It was still dark. It was about 5:30 in the morning. And then as the sun began to rise, the brothers started coming. And so we were fortunate enough to be there so early where we could see the size of the Million Man March grow. We just saw it grow, you know. And by the time 2, 3 o'clock had rolled around, you know, you had clearly had more than 1 million black men out there, close to 2 million. And it was just a beautiful time. It was a very, very beautiful time. Nothing but positivity. Black men from all over the world. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. I'll never forget it from a social standpoint. Okay. Also, backing up a little bit, that was my junior year. But my freshman year at Millersville University, there was a Black Consciousness Conference being hosted at Howard University, a Black Consciousness Conference. So obviously, me being into Black consciousness, I wanted to go. And I thank God for Miss Doris Cross, who is now deceased. She passed away a couple of months ago. She contacted me. She said, "Hey, Umar, do y'all want to go to the Black Consciousness Conference?" I said, "Sure." And I forget all of us who went. Kev went. Did Jamar go? I went. Kevin and Jamar were the two previous Black Student Union presidents at Millersville University prior to myself. But a group of us went. We drove to Howard University. And at that time, this is 1992, I'm a freshman. And at that time, Howard University still had their hotel. Howard University used to have its own hotel. I don't think they have it anymore. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think they have it anymore. And we stayed at the Howard University Hotel. I'll never forget that. So we go to the conference, right? I'm 18, okay? I believe I turned 18 already, okay? And so this is when I first met, for the first time, Dr. Yusuf Ben Yakinen, and he mesmerized me. And after I left Howard University, I said, everything that man has written, I'm going to read it. Every book, every interview, every video. I mean, I was just Dr. Yusuf Ben Yakinen crazy. And so for me, from a historical consciousness perspective, Dr. Yusuf Ben Yakinen would be critical. If you ever had to name someone who was critical in my further development, because I was already conscious, but taking me to the next level, was Dr. Yusuf Ben Yakinen. And with him being a Garveyite, that only added to the respect that I had for him and his work. Also, for the first time, I met Sister Soldier. Sister Soldier spoke at the conference. Also for the first time was Dale Jones out of Philadelphia. Some of y'all remember Dale Jones. He was the war correspondent. So Dr. Ben, Sister Soldier, Dale Jones. Guess who else I met for the first time? What's our brother's name out of Chicago? Steve Coakley. So here you is, 18-year-old Umar Johnson. And here I go to this conference and I meet Dr. Yusuf Ben Yakinen, who I never heard of before. Steve Coakley, who I never heard of before. Sister Soldier, who obviously was made popular with the Public Enemy videos, but I never got to meet her in the flesh. Okay. Dale Jones from Philadelphia. I did not know of him, even though I was from Philadelphia. And then I also met for the first time future attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz. Okay. Also there was Ben Chavis. And I believe at the time he was going through the scandal with the NAACP. Okay, if I'm not getting my timeline too confused. So when I got back from the Black Consciousness Conference, I mean, I said to myself, I thought I was conscious. I got to get more conscious. I was already an avid reader, but I intensified that. You know, I just went bananas. So I remember also my freshman year, same year that we went to the Black Consciousness Conference at Howard University, Jamar, who was president of the Black Student Union, he and I think Kev, they arranged to bring the Fugees in. Lauryn Hill, Wyclef, Proswell. I'll never forget it, right? This is the Fugees. Their second album, the blockbuster album, had not happened yet, okay? But the first album was out, Refugee Camp, I guess it was. So I remember we booked their rooms at the Travel Lodge. You know, so you know they wasn't big yet because ain't no hip-hop artist staying at no Travel Lodge today, right? So anyhow, Wyclef shows up. Okay, Proswell shows up. We at the Travel Lodge on Rohrerstown Road. For those of you who went to Millersville University and those of you who live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, you know Rohrerstown Road. The Travel Lodge on Rohrerstown Road, believe it or not, that's where the Fugees, okay, were scheduled to stay. And I'm going to say scheduled because I can't remember if they stayed overnight. They may have rode back to New Jersey right after the concert. So anyway, they all came separately. Lauryn Hill was running late. So we in a hotel room talking to Wyclef, talking to Proswell. And Proswell wasn't very social. I remember him having a nasty-ass attitude, to be honest with you. I don't know what was on his mind, okay? And it's so ironic because obviously we learned later that Lauryn Hill and Wyclef dated before, right? They dated. I believe they were a couple. Well, guess what? That shocked me when I found out that Lauryn Hill had dated Wyclef because at the concert, Proswell was all up under her, and I thought she was his girl because we went to take a picture together, and he stood in front of her and blocked the camera. So when the picture was taken, the first shot, it was me and his back. And I'm like, why is this hating-ass dude going to stand in front of her like that and block the camera? And she appeared to be a little intimidated by him. So I thought they were a couple. So when they said that she dated Wyclef, I'm like, so why was Proswell the one tripping and being so possessive at the concert? But anyhow, we're sitting in the Travel Lodge, and Lauryn Hill is running late. Wyclef and Proswell are there. And then all of a sudden, somebody knocks on the door, right? And you know I'm not going to miss no opportunity to meet Lauryn Hill, not 18-year-old Umar Johnson. You can forget that. So somebody knocks on the door. I go to the door, and I open the door, and guess who's standing right in front of me at the door of the Travel Lodge, Rohrerstown Road, Lancaster, Pennsylvania? None other than L Boogie Lauryn Hill. And I just stood and looked. I mean, she was drop dead gorgeous, all natural hair. I mean, she was a goddess, a goddess. So she looked up and she said, aren't you going to let me in? So I said, I'm sorry. So I let her in. So we all in the hotel room. All three of the Fugees are there. I'm in there. I think Kev Jamal was there. Some of the Black Student Union sisters was there. So Lauryn Hill sat on the bed next to me, and she put her head on my shoulder. And she said, my stomach is hurting. Okay? And so I kind of figured what she meant by that when a lady tell you her stomach is hurting. Okay? And she was saying that she was in such uncomfortability that she may not be able to perform. So we're like, oh my God. You know, we got the gymnasium, Priscilla Gymnasium. We're here with the Fugees, and we're supposed to be on our way to the gym. And Lauryn Hill is saying, I don't know if I'm going to be able to perform. So she just put her head on my shoulder the whole time, right? So we stopped at one of the mini markets and got us something to help her deal with her pain. And then we went and they did the concert, and they did an excellent job. The Fugees, and it's such a shame that they never got back together again. It's never too late. I hope they will, because they're one of the greatest hip-hop groups of all time, especially in terms of talent, creativity, and performance. Okay? So anyway, the concert is over. I'm standing at the back of the gym, okay, because I'm still, I'm a freshman. I'm new to the Black Student Union, but I'm the freshman phenom, okay? So I'm standing at the back of the gym, and it's dark in the gym. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes Lauryn Hill running up to Umar Johnson all the way at the back of the gymnasium in the dark. And she gives me a big hug, kisses me on the cheek, and says, bye, cutie. Now, my homies is there, and they say, you a sucker. I said, what? She like you. I said, how the hell I'm going to crack on Lauryn Hill? I don't even know how to crack. I'm only 18. I ain't got no game. You know what I mean? They're like, dude, she likes you. Why else would she come all the way to the back of the... And, I guess we're about the same age, Lauryn Hill and I, so it's not like she was older than me. But I didn't know how to ask her for her phone number. I really didn't. And I always wonder, what could have possibly became of that had I manned up and not been so starstruck and actually asked Lauryn Hill for her phone number. But she gave me a big hug, kissed me on the cheek, and she said, bye, cutie. And I'm like, my homie was like, dude. But that was that. Then I remember when the Roots came up, because, Tariq, the lead rapper of the Roots, and the former Roots member Malik, they both went to Millersville University. So we went to the same university. Okay, but they had left, I guess, the year before I got there. And I remember we needed somebody for homecoming. And of course, this is Kevin and Jamal at the time, because I don't become president until 95. And we paid the Roots $500. And they did it on the strength of the Black Student Union, because we didn't have any money. And I remember meeting Tyreek, you know what I mean? And he was kind of like Proswell a little bit, because he's a shorter brother. So sometimes with the shorter brothers, they got to be a little, tough with it or whatever. But he was all right, you know what I mean? But I tell you this, they rocked that damn concert. He rocked that damn concert. I mean, the Roots put on the show, and it's before they blew. So we met the Fugees before they blew, and then we met the Roots right before they blew. You know what I mean? They were just starting out. But I'll never forget that concert because of the way he rocked it. So when I became president of the Black Student Union, we had Dougie Fresh for the concert. And it was good meeting Dougie. And Dougie rocked. Dougie rocked the concert. You know what I mean? And he put on the show. So the Fugees, the Roots, Dougie Fresh, like these are true performers, because in the rap world, and I learned all this being in the Black Student Union, a lot of rappers only put on a good show when they on the Grammys or the Soul Train Awards. When they come to the colleges, they will do 10 minutes, take your money, and walk their ass off the stage. So anyway, when I became president of the Black Student Union, my final concert was Spring Fling, April of 1997. And we almost didn't have a concert because we didn't have enough money. But the Student Activities Board, which is the white the white student activities, they had made me a promise that they was going to give me a couple $1,000s, and they tried to renege on the promise. So I went to the vice president, Riker, Dr. Riker, who was a white guy, but he was cool with me to an extent, obviously, because we know the rules of white supremacy. But anyhow, I went to him and I said, yo, they promised me that they was going to give the Black Student Union some money for the concert. And he said, don't worry about it. I'm going to take care of it. So we had meetings and everything. We would go sit in at the University Activities Board and the Student Senate. And just as a historical point, because at that time, I was still heavy into Sunni Orthodox Islam. So I was the first, I believe I was the first African-American male secretary of Millersville University Student Senate. And I believe I was the first African-American Muslim officer of Millersville University Student Senate in history. But be that as it may, we got the money. So I got Jay-Z and KRS1. Now, Kevin Jamal had Jay-Z a couple years, KRS1 a couple years ago. Now, I was working on getting Little Kim. And of course, y'all probably saying, why are you getting them? It's because it's the concert. I mean, I was conscious, but you know, they want a concert and they entitled to that, okay? We were young and that's what we was into. So Biggie got murdered. And let me tell you how I found out Biggie got murdered. I'll never forget this. And I'm going to shout out to Moana, Sister Moana, who was the recording secretary or the corresponding secretary of the Black Student Union. But I got to shout out Moana because Moana would always take me to Westchester to give out flyers. We would go to Cheney to give out flyers. We would go to Lincoln to give out flyers. Where else do we go? Cheney, Lincoln, Westchester. What other school is around there? But we would go to all the schools in our area to give out flyers. So me and Moana, what happened? It's the day to go give out the flyers for, I'm trying to remember how this went down. I think it was going to be Little Kim and KRS. I think it was going to be Little Kim and KRS1. Okay. So we're about to go give out these flyers with Little Kim and KRS1, I believe. And Moana, you got to refresh my memory. I don't know if we made the switch yet. We're in the car driving to Lincoln University to give out the flyers for the Little Kim KRS1 concert. And the radio announced rapper Christopher Wallace was shot and killed in a drive-by yesterday in Los Angeles. I'll never forget it. We were sitting in the car. We was in Moana's car right outside the Student Activity Center at Millersville University. And me and Moana just looked at each other like, oh my God. Oh my God. So anyway, we went to give out the flyers, right? And guess what? We get to Lincoln University. I'll never forget this. This is unwritten history. We get to Lincoln University the day after Biggie is murdered. In the entire campus, every student had Christopher Wallace shrines outside on the main campus, on their door. Everybody's dorm door was covered with Christopher Wallace pictures. They was blasting Biggie music all on Lincoln University campus. Then we went to Cheney, same thing. Cheney University, every student dorm door was covered with Biggie Smalls. You heard nothing but Biggie music. People were crying. Some of the students were crying. We lived through this. This was the day that we gave out flyers for the Little Kim KRS1 concert. We went to Westchester. Westchester being a white college, we didn't see as much memorial, but it was still there. I mean, it was just amazing because we lived through that. The day after he was murdered, that's the day we went to give out the flyers. Now, let me go back a year. When Tupac was murdered, because Tupac is my favorite rapper, I went from Public Enemy to Tretch to Tupac. So anyhow, my father, it was family day. It was family day at Millersville University. It was a football game. Okay, they had an annual family day. It was a football game. So my father, he decides to show up unannounced, as he always do, without no warning. And I'm chilling with my girlfriend. I think my girlfriend was in the room. So my dad knocks on the door, but I'm thinking it's one of my homies, like, are you going to go watch the football game? So I get up and I peek out my dorm door, and my dad is standing outside my door. I'm like, dude, you know, and I don't want him to know I got my queen in the room because I'm only, when Tupac died at what, 22, 21, 22? You know, you don't want your dad in your business, right? So anyway, I let my dad go downstairs, okay, out of respect for my queen, right? So when my dad go downstairs, she goes to her room because I was in Burroughs Hall, which was co-ed at the time. I believe Burroughs was co-ed at the time. So my dad comes back up, and I let him in, and he says, you heard what happened? And I said, nah, what happened? He says, your boy got murdered. And I'm thinking somebody back home in North Philly, you know what I mean? I'm like, who? He said, Tupac is dead. And my dad was never a big Tupac fan, right? I said, what? He said, Tupac is, I said, hell no. So I turned on the TV, and there it was on the TV, Tupac Shakur, okay, died yesterday, blah, 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 as a result of a drive-by that occurred a couple of days ago, boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? And I was blown. I was blown. Okay, I wasn't a big Biggie fan at the time. Biggie grew on me after Biggie died because I couldn't really relate to Biggie's materialism because I wasn't into that. But he grew on me, you know, after he passed. But Pac, I was Pac to the death. I was Tupac to the death. And so guess what? My door became a shrine. My door became a shrine, and I had Tupac stuff all over the place. And I used to write for the Millersville University student paper. Okay, and so I did a Tupacalypse Forever article that week. And a lot of the African-American students at Millersville University, they appreciated the Tupac article that I wrote. I remember Tupac was supposed to perform in Philly at the Robin Hood Dell East. Some of y'all remember that. Tupac was supposed to perform in Philadelphia at the Robin Hood Dell East. This is all around the same time. I believe I'm already at Millersville. I'm a freshman or a sophomore, and I got my Tupac ticket. I'm like, I'm going to finally see Tupac. I got my ticket. I'm ready. And guess what? I'm listening to Power 99, and it comes across the radio, Power 99, that Philadelphia, the city of Philadelphia, has forced the promoters of the Tupac concert to cancel the concert. There will be no Tupac concert. I damn near cried. I bought my ticket before they sold out. I was ready, had my Tupac t-shirt. I'm like, I'm going to see Pac. I'm going to meet Pac. I'm going to sing all the songs with Pac. In the damn city of Philadelphia, I think we had racist Mayor Rendell. Was Rendell the mayor, or was John Street the mayor? But be that as it may, they thought Tupac was going to bring violence and revolution and all this stuff to Philly. And so the Tupac concert got canceled. And my one and only time to see Tupac live was disrupted by white supremacy. So anyhow, moving back up, it's time for the Jay-Z concert, the Jay-Z KRS1 concert, right? So KRS1 made me upset that night because, and remind you, I'm a senior now. I'm graduating in a couple weeks, so I want to go out with a bang. I thank God. I was blessed by God to get that money from the white University Activities Board so we can have enough money to pay for Jay-Z and KRS1. We paid KRS1 $10,000. In fact, KRS1 Step Into My World song had just dropped. Y'all remember that? Step into my world. Boop, 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 boop. The Step Into My World single had just popped. He wanted 10 grand, and I'm saying, his manager showed up, and I'm telling his manager, like, yo, we paying this dude $10,000 and he not even here yet. He didn't leave New York City. You know, New York City to Lancaster, PA is like a 4-hour ride damn near. So KRS1, I think they said he forgot he had to do the show or some shit. I'm like, how you forget you got a damn show at a college's spring concert? Are you crazy? So anyhow, KRS1 finally gets there. Jay-Z shows up. Okay, we paid Jay-Z $6,000 just to show you. In My Lifetime Volume 1, Jay-Z In My Lifetime Volume 1 had just dropped. Okay. The first album, Reasonable Doubt, obviously was already out, right? I was not a Jay-Z fan at the time, but he was real popular. So I said, let's get Jay-Z. But Jay-Z was not known for putting on a good show. So we got KRS1 because we knew if Jay-Z gave us a poor-ass show, KRS1 would be our insurance. KRS1 would rock it. And since KRS1 had a new song out, he would take it even further. Because once he do the Bridges Over, it's a wrap. So when you hear that Bridges Over beat, the crowd went crazy. So anyhow, Jay-Z shows up in a limousine, right? He's with B-High. Jay-Z and B-High. You see, so he in a white limo, all that, player stuff. It's time for him to go on stage. He finally comes out. A whole group of Brooklyn dudes come, and they want to get in for free. They screaming, talking about, we with Jay-Z, you got to let us in. We with Jay-Z, you got to let us in. I'm like, dude, we can't let no whole army in. So I got tired of them cursing and screaming and acting like fools, and I knew the university police would look for any excuse to shut us down, so I let them in. Jay-Z's backstage with B-High and with his homies from Brooklyn. And guess what they doing? Jay-Z did his show. He did a couple songs. I wasn't impressed with the performance, but the audience liked it. He probably rocked for about 20 minutes. I wasn't really impressed. He had 2 albums. Now he got a whole catalog, right? So anyway, the show is over, and I guess they're looking for girls to take to the hotel. I don't know. So Jay-Z and his homies is like signaling girls to come back. They kind of, girls wanted to take pictures with Jay-Z, but the university police said we can't have all them back here. That's a security breach, and we'll shut it down. They didn't want the black kids to have no concert anyway. Y'all feel me? So they was looking for any way to shut us down. So Jay-Z and his homies is like bringing the girls, and it was okay to do a couple, but then all the girls wanted to go back there. And the security's like, Umar, if they don't stop, we going to shut it down. So I'm telling B-High and Jay-Z, y'all got to chill because these crackers don't want us to have no show anyhow, and they going to shut us down, even though the lead cop was black, but, black cop. Anyhow, KRS1, black cop. But anyhow, me and Jay-Z gets into an argument. The Prince of Pan-Africanism and Jay-Z, Sean Carter, get into an argument along with B-High. Because I'm telling them, y'all got to stop pulling girls back because KRS1 hasn't performed. And if they shut our concert down, people not going to get to see KRS1. So we go back and forth, almost get into a fight. Yes, Umar Johnson and Jay-Z almost got into a fight in 1997 at Priscilla Gymnasium at Millersville University. True story. True story. So they finally leave. Okay? KRS1 still ain't there yet. So now the crowd is getting restless because they're like, yo, Umar, do y'all really have KRS1 coming? Because we paid for KRS1 and Jay-Z. You know how black folks is. We want our money back there. So I'm stressing because the security is like, we gotta be out of here by 2 in the morning or something. They was getting on my damn nerves. They would not work with me. I said, listen, these people paid to see KRS1. We paid him $10,000. Y'all got to wait. He finally gets there. And I got to give him credit. He tore that damn show up. He showed up with his dancers. Remember KRS1 used to have the dancers. They were flipping and standing on each other's head. KRS1 tore that damn show up. He tore that show up. He killed it. Bridges Over, Step Into My World. And I didn't realize that man was that tall. KRS1 is like 6'6", because most rappers are kind of short. Jay-Z probably grew a couple of inches since then. He looked taller. But at that time, I was about 3 inches taller than Jay-Z, and I was 6'2". So at the time, he was about 5'10". He seems to be more like a 6'2" now. He might have been a late bloomer. So be that as it may, KRS1 blew it down, and that was it. And we graduated in a couple weeks. So I graduated, I believe that was May 17th, 1997, which is the anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education decision. I go back to Philly.